دمعة اليتيمة يا أحرف الأليمة يا دمعة اليتيمة يا أحرف الأليمة.
Millions of children around the world have been deprived the tender warmth of a mother's touch and the loving serenity of a father's care. At innocent and playful young ages, these children have been quickly forced to mature into early adulthood, fending for survival and in many cases caring for younger siblings. It is an unfortunate reality that these young children are left orphaned after the death of one or both parents as a result of illness, war, violence, and many other tragedies. Orphans are among the most vulnerable members of society, requiring special care and attention from the rest of society. This special care for orphans is an act made obligatory in the Holy Quran in Surah 4 verse 36. And serve God, ascribing nothing as partner unto Him. Show kindness unto parents and unto near kindred, and orphans, and the needy, and unto the neighbor who is of kin unto you, and the neighbor who is not of kin, and the fellow traveler and the wayfarer. The aftermath of the latest war in Iraq has resulted in over 5 million orphan children and over 1 million widows. There are over 70,000 orphan children in the city of Najaf alone. This critical situation demands the attention of not only faithful Muslims, but also humanitarians all over the world.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد: أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. الله سبحانه وتعالى ألفت عنايته الكبرى في الإسلام وفي القرآن إلى الأيتام، وفتح لنا بابا كبيرا لدخول الجنة، ألا وهو رعاية اليتيم. فمن مسح على رأس يتيم هو صدقة. ويقول النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: من عال يتيما حتى يكبر ضمنت له على الله الجنة. وقال: أنا وكافر اليتيم في الجنة كهاتين، وجمع بين إصبعيه.
The dire situation in Iraq, caused by decades of neglect and brutal dictatorship, a devastating embargo, occupation, inhumane terrorism, and war, prompted a group of concerned individuals in California to establish My Orphans in 2007. My Orphans is a 501c3 non-profit project of the Imam Mahdi Association of Marji'iyya, the liaison office of His Eminence Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Ali As-Sistani, and was developed in response to the dire need of assistance and tending to the basic necessities of the increasing number of orphaned and needy children, specifically in war-torn and poverty-stricken nations. My Orphans also provides assistance to children with special needs, living with parents who cannot tend to their special needs. My Orphans defines an orphan as a child who has lost one or both parents. Male orphans will continue to receive financial assistance until the age of 18, while female orphans will continue to receive financial assistance until marriage.
من الآيات الكبرى التي سطرها القرآن الكريم عن العناية بالأيتام قصة الحسن والحسين سلام الله عليهما مع أبيهما وأمهما أمير المؤمنين وفاطمة الزهراء، وحين كانا صغيرين وهما عليهم السلام في بداية حياتهما شاركا أسرتهما الصيام 3 أيام، ما كانوا يفطرون إلا على الماء، فقط الماء، وكانوا يعطون طعامهم للمسكين والفقير واليتيم الذي كان يطرق بابهم على 3 أيام. هذا حث لنا على أن نعلم أبناءنا منذ صغرهم ونشأتهم على حب الأيتام والتصدق والتحنن عليهم.
In 2009, My Orphans moved its operational headquarters to Dearborn, Michigan, where it began an extensive reconstruction from the ground up by expanding to include orphan support in Lebanon and Afghanistan, along with Iraq, developing a new website, designing literature in order to solicit for support nationwide, and most importantly, developing a process for supporting orphans in a safe and efficient manner. My Orphans is now run by a group of 13 volunteers from all backgrounds and professions, each individual bringing in his or her own unique experience and talent to achieving the ultimate goal of tending to urgent orphan care.
After visiting the orphanages and the orphan schools and the organizations that we visited last year and this year, I see the responsibility of My Orphans as twofold. Number one, I see a responsibility for us to bring awareness to our community, our society, of the desperate need overseas. And number two, I see a responsibility for us to be that medium, that means of collecting money and aid to better the situation of the orphans overseas, to provide that gleam of hope.
In 2011, which was, I can't believe, over a year ago already, and it's very hard to really think about what we did or what we saw over in Iraq and even Lebanon, and try to put it into words without getting very emotional. So besides going to see the school that the orphans were taken, which I thought was great, found out that the orphans are bused to school, that they are fed 2 meals, that they are clothed, and they are bused back home, where hopefully our project, My Orphans, helps the parents with some supplemental income. And the children, we were there just for the boys. The children were just children. And I didn't realize what this would really do to me, honestly. I got into the organization for a lot of different reasons. Mostly I wanted to see, actually, it's because when somebody asks about orphans, you really can't say no. So you get into the whole project and you find out what they're really about. And it was about war-torn countries. And I've thought about being a foster mom here in America and thought about helping the children here, but never really thought about children overseas. So when this came about, I said, okay, this will give me an idea of what's going on over there. So it took about 2 years for me to finally get overseas, to be able to see, or actually see and try to get more of a feeling of what we can do for these orphans. And going to their homes was very, very difficult. We weren't able to see many, but I remember driving to these, I thought I was going to an actual home, and it was dirt. And it seemed like all I remember seeing is barbed wire and thinking of concentration camps in a way. And I'm like, these children don't even have a place to be children, to play, have parks, to just let off whatever steam they have for the day. And I remember seeing garbage and piles of it, and like that these children were thrown in the slums, kind of places that we don't visit here. I mean, we have our own areas that we're pretty sheltered. People always tell me I've lived a sheltered life, and now I know what they mean. It's been very sheltered, alhamdulillah. And to go see the kind of atmosphere that they have to grow up in, and to see what they lived in, was, besides very humbling, it was disturbing.
When I got there, I thought, this is my chance to help. This is my chance to help these kids with anything that they might need, not realizing how much they were going to help me. I didn't realize by them helping me, realizing that the amount of things that I have in my life, the things that my children have, the things that my family has, the house I live in, the car we drive, the basic necessities that we need, as opposed to the things that we want. When I visited the orphanage there, the kids were so excited to see us. And we had to keep the strongest face so that they didn't feel uncomfortable. I kept a smile on my face, although I was dying inside. They continued with their day. We visited their classrooms, and they got up and said salawat and extended their salams, which was so beautiful to see them do. It was lunchtime when we stuck around there for a few hours, and it became lunchtime. And there was a bunch of little boys. And regardless of their situation, boys will be boys. Laughter and jumping around on each other and having fun and playing in the room. The sad part was the room that they were playing in was their cafeteria, was their classroom, was their playground, was anything, their lobby. This is the whole building, was this room. And as the boys sat down in rows, facing each other, eating their lunch, it was pouring outside, and you could barely hear each other talk from the noise of the rain hitting on top of the very thin roof. And the boys constantly would be moving their plates from left to right because there'd be water dripping down and forming puddles in front of their plates. To me, I thought to myself, what more would they need than even just a simple building? They're leaving their homes to come to get some type of education and to get away from the poverty in their homes, and they're coming to even more poverty in these orphanages. The simple thing we could do is just contributing dollars that we may overlook and think, well, what's $1 going to do? $1 goes a long way, a very long way. So the $1 on the pack of gum my kid wants, or the $1 I might spend at the dollar store, could have maybe repaired that building or done more things that they might have needed.
I remember meeting one of the women who worked at the orphanage. Well, I can't say worked, she's a volunteer. She was telling me that she's an engineer in Iraq, and she quit her job as an engineer so that she could serve orphans. Another story that she told us that there was a little girl in the orphan school who every single day would save half of her meal. Every single day she'd save half of her meal. The teacher asked her, "Why are you saving half of your meal?" And she responded that she has a sister at home who doesn't have food. So she was taking food to her sister at home. This year, when we visited the orphanage, I was able to see the girls' session and the boys' session this year. I remember watching the boys when they were performing group prayer. When the boys were in sujood, I just remember looking at their little feet. Some of them didn't have socks on. Some of them had socks with the holes in them that were bigger than the actual sock itself. Some of them had girls' socks on. The socks that they were wearing, we wouldn't even donate.
للكافلين توصي حكاية الصغار باتوا غير راع يا دمعة انكساري للكافرين قصي.
With as little as $30 a month, you can provide an orphan child with basic necessities of food, clothing, shelter, education, and most of all, a gleam of hope for a brighter future.